Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bethany All Access Podcast. We're so excited that you have joined us here today. Man, we got an awesome topic to cover. But first, I want to just thank our sponsor of this podcast, Novity. And if you want to learn how to maximize church engagement, you can visit novitybrand.com. We actually have this product at many of our campuses and love it. So visit novitybrand.com and check them out. So we have on our podcast, well, first off, I'm John. I work with our All Access team. And then we have Lisa Wood.
Hello.
She's on our All Access team as well, and many other hats here at the church. Then we have Dr. Christina Sanchez, part of our Bethany College BTS team.
Yes.
How are things going there?
Oh, it is amazing. Y'all, we just launched our Bible training school this past fall. So we're going into our second semester strong, and truly we're seeing young people, we're seeing people of all ages actually come and just go deeper in the Word of God, get training in ministry, and then be launched out. So, hey, I'm actually wearing my shirt today, and our motto is give God a year and see what he can do. So, hey, we're excited for the fall. We're excited for more people to come from all over, but loving our time in BTS. It's been awesome.
Fantastic, man. BTS is awesome. And we're going to be talking about events today, but I think one event we want to make sure that everyone is aware of is our Empower event coming up June 12th through the 14th. Empower, our All Access event, and BoldX, our youth event, are going to be combining together in June 12th through the 14th, 2024. It's going to be an amazing event, and we're just super excited about it. So visit BethanyAllAccess.com/events to find out more information.
We're excited for that.
Yeah, super excited. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome.
There might even be some BTS people there.
Yes, there will be.
I bet there will be.
Tons. Well, we're talking about events here, and, you know, what church does not have events? It's kind of the lifeblood of getting people connected in the church, fun things. So, Lisa, what was your first event here at Bethany?
Yeah, so we took a while to think about this because I started kind of as a volunteer during the week, and it evolved into a position here, which I'm super grateful for. And I started, my first big event was a daddy-daughter date night. And actually, I think it was called the daddy-daughter dance back in the day, but it's where we got all the dads and the daughters together. And they just had a fun time here at our broadcast campus, and we brought them in, and we had like a carnival style event going on. And so we brought in all kinds of like fair games, and it was a whole ordeal. We took all the chairs out of the main sanctuary and turned it into a big carnival. We had acrobats coming down from the ceiling and all kinds of
Those
cool
pictures
stuff.
were awesome.
It was really cool.
Pretty
I
cool.
was excited.
Iconic.
I wish I was a dad with a daughter when I.
But I love to serve.
but I loved serving. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you did a great job with that event. And then Dr. Sanchez.
Yes. I love events. I feel like the question was, my first event was actually our 50th anniversary. So that was my first event. It was my first one right out the gate, and I was over our green room and our special guest and setting up the behind-the-scenes dinner for them. So, but from there, that was my job when I got hired on, was our Easter. So I've done our big egg hunts. I've done our chicken and eggs for those who remember back in the day. I served with our youth, so our youth nights, our young adult nights. I actually got to plan Bethany conferences a couple years ago for a couple years, so I love event planning. And then now I'm doing BTS and being able to plan different events for them. I feel like an event is a gathering of people, and we know that church is all about gathering people. So I don't know where events is not.
That's right. So we'd say, you know, weekend service is an event.
Yep.
But there's a team that plans that. And then these events would be the outside events outside of a Sunday service, like you said, Easter, our 50th anniversary.
Team nights, we have leaders nights, team nights, we have volunteer appreciation parties, we have A-team trainings, we have literally any ministry here. We've been able to be intentional with gathering them, having a purpose for them, and then really seeing fun implemented. And so, yeah, we have a lot of events here.
Yeah, and so when we talk about events, I mean, I think everybody wants to have a way to gather their people, whether it's, you know, our senior pastor, different ministries, different campuses. But, you know, how do you know which events to pick and choose? Because there is a finite amount of money, a finite amount of time, and you literally can't do everything. So I'm sure there's a process that we go through to decide, hey, we're going to do this event, we're going to skip this event, or maybe we're going to combine.
Yes.
this
We
event.
have
So-
gotten smarter over the years. I know Lisa, all three of us have been in those meetings right off the back. I feel like we've ran it to where ministries have had different events, maybe 4 or 5 a year, maybe more. And then we realized that's over 10 plus, 20 plus events altogether.
Yeah,
for
over
Bethany
all the
Church.
ministries. It's a
Yep.
Bethany Church as a whole will have events where we all come together, but then each separate ministry would end up having, like you
Multiple.
said, 4 or 5 events, which is really great because we love to gather people and we don't want to have an event just for the sake of an event. It's a good thing to do. But yeah, when you look at the whole church as a whole and you look at how many people are gathering, how often are they gathering, who's doing it that many times, it's
When you
kind of,
plan the planning, you're able to see.
Right.
And I know here at Bethany, we have been able to work smarter together across ministries. Whether you have a big staff, a smaller staff, whether you have volunteers, whatever it is, it's really getting the leads of those ministries who are passionate about gathering people and then making a plan. What we do every year, we have in October for the following year, we all get together in a room, we come proposing, man, we want to throw these events. We've been dreaming about them. We're passionate about them. We see the calendar and all together we're able to see, yeah, that's a lot to ask our people. Because then I'm asking the youth to come, but their parents need to bring them, but they're coming now to something their sibling has for B kids.
Yeah.
And then we have a volunteer training. So as you can see, the short answer to that, I think we've been able to really just gather. We have a planning meeting to plan the year and be able to just be smarter in that aspect. But your other question was, how do we know which events to have?
Yeah. So how? Because I mean, one thing to keep in mind is, we have youth events, different types of events, but also we have to consider that youth will be at an A-team event because they serve on the weekend as well. Our young adults will serve on the weekend, but they may also have a training or a, different training or something like that. So definitely taking into consideration how important those planning meetings are and saying, okay, is there any crisscross where we're overloading them saying, well, we want you at this event, this event, this event, because let's be real. We all think that our events are the event to be at,
of course they are.
right? Because I wouldn't have an event unless I thought it was something important to have. So, is there like a process that we go through to decide we're going to use this one instead of this one? Or
Yeah.
Lisa?
I know for what I've been involved in a couple years back when we were in youth, young adults, we kind of boiled it down to, does this event add to the vision of our church? Here at Bethany, we have a mission statement, bringing all people into the life, family, and purpose of God. So all of our events ran through those filters. Is this adding people into life, into salvation? Is this adding people into B group, community? Is this adding people into purpose, training them, equipping them? And we realized there was probably about 3 or 4 events that didn't belong in those categories, and we considered those lower priority, and they were the first to get cut. I would say,
prioritize. I mean, like you said, it's about the vision, and of course that comes down to the lead pastor providing vision. But a couple episodes ago, Camber mentioned, you're not the senior pastor's not the only one that gives vision. You have to have vision for your area. So come with vision, come prepared, but also realize that that your senior pastor is Holy Spirit led, probably, hopefully, and he's running with his vision that that God's given him, and ultimately our job as staff or lead volunteers is to help uphold that vision as a church. And so we want to run with what fits best in that season of ministry. And so you need to prioritize what works best, and it might not, you might be trying to have an outreach event, call it outreach, but it's really just Christians gathering together for some other purpose. And you have to realize, well, who are we outreaching here?
what is the impact?
What's the impact?
Yes.
Sure. So looking at that as well.
I feel like
has
a
been
way to say
beneficial.
that too is, does it add value to the people you're serving?
Right.
I knew a couple years ago when I was doing youth directing that, man, I really wanted us to gather, like you're saying, Lisa, but there's an outreach happening, and it would be actually make more of an impact to gather my student leaders and let's go out and serve at the outreach. We're going to be together. We're going to create memories. We're going to give them another layer to lean in, but we're doing it to build the church and to build the vision that was ahead. And then I would also say, does it add value to your team? I love events because it gathers our teams together to do something bigger than themselves. Like, I don't think you can go have an event with a one person doing it all. Like, it takes a team.
Probably
and I
not,
love that
right.
even right now, this is considered an event. We put it on a calendar and it's something we're doing together, and it kind of allows us to rise and to be challenged and to grow. So how do we know what events to have? I think it's adding value to those areas, especially your team. And people are going to stay where they're seen and valued. And I think events is it is such a equipping tool to enlarge our teams and to allow people to have a place in the local church.
Absolutely. So we mentioned it. So we have a planning meeting in October where we kind of just, everyone throws out, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. That's also the cutting room floor. And then it also goes into another meeting where they say, well, we're going to do this, not do that, or I'm putting something there. So your event has made it to the calendar.
Well, I think before you go on,
Yes.
we have a big calendar.
Yes.
So we purchased the largest wall calendar you can find.
That is true.
And somebody is writing down every single proposed event during that meeting, and then you can visually see, wow, I don't think there's 12 events going on this 1 week. I don't know that we can have that. So you see kind of the red tape on a week, and you're like, well, we should probably
And I think
scale
another thing
back.
we'll probably get to a little bit later is Google Docs can be your friend. Documents can be your
Yes.
friend. Not only do we have it in front of a calendar, but we also have it in a
Available,
document in Word format.
accessible.
Yes.
Where everyone can read it down, like, hey, why does this date come up 14 times? Oh, well, we decided we want to try to put 14 dates there, or 14 events, and we're not going to be able to do that. So your event made the document. So now what? I guess we got to start planning the event because, well, we're going to have it. No, people aren't just going to show up. Nothing's going to happen in and of itself. So let's start. How do we plan an event?
How do we plan an event? One of my favorite questions. I love,
Meeting.
and this is, I've been at fault for this, but I have planned events not really having the clearest understanding of the vision for the event. And I guess that
Right.
goes back to the person leading this event. Do they understand how it plays a part in the large scale of the church? Do they understand what the goal of it is? What's the tone of it? Is today about training? Is today about full community? Or is today about giving information and equipping people? So I think understanding the vision is huge. That's how we start planning events. But then a timeline is so key. I feel like for any event that you have 3 to 6 months, I know there's some people out there that may say, man, I could plan an event in 2 weeks. And I think that's great. But I think being able to see it in several different time frames can help be more intentional with it. So like we're having a Christmas party, we start planning that probably end of September, beginning October, or for Christmas because that's seasonal. Or if we have a conference, that's going to take a year out, if not more time. So I think it depends on the type of event you have, but 3 to 6 months, I would say, is pretty average to be able to dream for it.
And the further out you are, the more you can kind of walk through the event multiple times and go,
Right.
we're going to need that there. Or, we've read through the schedule multiple times and we're thinking we're good. Let's read it through it one more time. Hey, did we find out if there are going to be tables at this event? Did anyone ask if worship is available?
Right.
We love
We
questions.
we put worship on the schedule, but do they even know
Do they
about
even
it?
know that
Do they
they're
know that it's
supposed to be there?
happening?
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that's shared calendars, making sure everyone who you want to be
Communicated
involved is
to.
communicated to. I think the timeline is huge, and I guess the timeline needs to be realistic.
Yes.
Because everything can't be done the first week, but we also don't want to wait till the last minute. So an incremental step check-in of let's get this ball moving down the road. Because how do you move a giant, or how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
That's
Really?
how I eat my elephants.
That's how you eat your elephants. That's how we all do it. You eat an elephant one bite at a time.
I guess I'll do it now. But
That's right. Well,
Now you know
try
how.
it.
Now I
You can
know.
now
Try
because
it,
you know.
taking small steps to move it down the
oh,
field.
I see what you're saying.
Yes. And get a team.
Yes. Lisa, please talk on building a team. I feel like you're such a key in that role.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, team building is important. Building a team is important. But I think knowing who has a gift for the areas you're trying to have is great, because we all can do admin, we all can do whatever the element is, but who's gifted in that area is really important, and making sure that you have a lead person over each area who can take whatever the vision is, take whatever the responsibilities are, and push the ball down the field.
Yeah.
If you leave it up to the one person who's in charge of this event, the pastor, the leader, it's probably not going to get as far as it could if you
That's
bring
true.
on more people. And so getting the right people on board, I've heard this a lot being here. When you get the right people on the bus, it matters where the bus goes, but it's going to get to somewhere awesome if you have the right people on the bus. And so just getting those right people in the right spots will help your event be the most excellent it can be, because utilize the gifts of your people. If you have real strong volunteers, if you don't have a large staff, you don't have to. You don't have to have a large staff to have a great event. You can utilize volunteers with their giftings in each of those areas. So someone might be strong in email communication. That's really important.
It's needed.
It's needed. We need to know when things are happening, what's going on. Maybe they're sending calendar invites out to people. Also important. It doesn't.
Someone may be great at mobilizing people.
Right.
I know that's not as much of a strength as mine, so I
Sure.
rely on those. Hey, I'll do the communications. If you can help be the voice, if you can help gather, and then together it's spread, like the weight is spread and it's just stronger.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's really
I think
important.
that's huge. Making sure to build the team and pulling people that from all different areas.
Yes.
Not just
That's
someone who
key.
thinks like you or kind of reasons like you or is administrative like you. Because, you could be administrative and we could put the framework for an event together so well. But unless there's that fun aspect or that, hey, does this actually flow well together? You decided to go from a fast song, into an altar call. Is that something that you really want to do?
No.
You get to ask those questions. And those people that will ask those questions, is that, do we consider this?
Just they
Should
see
we
it
consider that?
differently
Exactly.
and their insight matters. I love events because it's such a team thing, and I love letting other people shine in ways they could never see for themselves. Like I love building teams for events because it's a training ground, especially for our younger people working with youth, young adults in college for the past several years. People are the strongest they are by the training that they've been able to have. And so I love being able to have someone shadow me or hey, we need someone to lead creative. I know they've never done it before. Bring them on. Let them be part of the team. Let them shadow. Let them kind of have it. And then they stick because now they're in community. Now they're having fun about it. And now they're sharpening their gift. And that's the people we want helping the church in 5 years, maybe even next year, So I think building a team is huge.
I think even going back to planning, just, making sure you leave yourself that time frame.
Building a margin.
And
Yes.
I think one key thing is, we have Empower coming up June 12th to the 14th. We'd love all of you to join us there. But we had our Empower event in September.
Yeah.
We came off Empower. We said, hey, how did it go? We had a debrief meeting. I said, how did it go? What went well? What were some, as I say, opportunities that we could change? We would change, could change. Get some feedback from Pastor Jonathan, from Pastor Wayne, and see how that went. And then we've already been planning Empower June 12th to the 14th. So we've already had that on the books. We've been planning it
It's a never-ending
since
cycle.
last year. It's like, it's right.
It's true.
One event ends, there's already one that's taking its place.
But
because we
people
always wanna
are
build on it.
enjoying it because they enjoy consistency.
Right.
Like when we build strong structures, we can run this for decades and get new people involved, and they don't have to start from ground zero. I think something in event planning that has always helped me is that preparation is so key, but people tend to think it's only the day of the event. Literally, the events that we've ran, I feel like 80% is pre-event.
Oh, yeah.
The communication,
Absolutely.
the planning, and then you have the day of, and then the other percentage is, hey, let's actually look back, like John's saying. And I know we have a couple things that we do to help us, like those huddles, those team meetings, those feedback forms. And then I know, Lisa, you're really good at this. When we start planning the next one, you bring out that doc.
I was just going to say, that was my next point. I was like, but those docs are really important because when you start planning for the next big event, and if it's the same type of event, like Empower is, you can refer to those and it really fits for the next event. But it's important to be able to pull those out and say, well, what did they say about Was breakfast too short? Was the time frame that we had there? Did we not give enough time? Were people coming in later because they didn't get to finish their food? I mean, stuff like that is small, but it makes such a big impact at the event, because if you put yourself in that person's shoes and you're coming into an event that you potentially paid for, or that you want to be a part of and on time, and
you gave your time of.
Right, and you didn't get to eat breakfast in enough time before worship started, that's a big deal.
Those small things matter.
Small things matter, and the details are really important. And that's, it's getting someone detail oriented on your team is great to have too. I think
not only having the team, but also considering, and kind of going back to the planning part, was, once you kind of go through your debrief, we have folders upon folders of events that we've done here.
Yeah.
You talked about your Easter events. That was like 2012.
Yep.
So we have
They're accessible. Pull back
the
up.
chicken and eggs Easter event that we did in 2012.
7 parks.
If we want to know what happened at that event, we can go back, find the folder, open it up, and say, hey, these are the vendors we use. These are the parks we use. This is our process.
This was the budget around that time because of
budget
inflation.
That we use.
Maybe.
And so you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. There are things that have been done before. So maybe a team member moves on, or a volunteer moves on.
Yes.
Or an event's happening and you're like, I don't really know. I've never done that event before.
Well, here you go.
Guaranteed there's probably someone around that has either helped out in a meeting that they've done before, or they said, yeah, I've done that before, or I've worked on that before. Similar to you with Bethany Conference, and just the amount of folders that we have access to. So in that sense, if you're planning an event, conference, Easter event, reach out. We have docs.
Yes.
We've got scribbles.
We should be able to help each
docs.
other.
Right.
No one should have to start from ground zero. There's so many resources out there. And can I just say about the whole debrief side, something I think we've learned and I've experienced a lot here at Bethany is that, man, it's not personal when it comes to improving. Like, I know I've led, and there's been some things I thought went great, but someone else's experience wasn't that, and we're able to track it. And it's such a team thing that if it was just one person saying, well, that went great, well, everybody was on time and this and that, and it's like, no, there's always blind spots. And so I love that whenever we do improvements and we do you just get better, we get better together, and nobody's taking it so personally. And I think that can hurt an event. That can hurt a ministry, honestly, is when someone's like, well, I'm planning it, I thought it went great, I don't really need to learn as much from it. And it's like, no, invite more people into your spaces, because criticism is key, and it's effective, and it's healthy when done consistently, and not just,
Especially when there's so many areas that are at that event.
Please speak into
and areas that you didn't see. You may be over the event, but did you see how registration went? Did you see how food was going?
I can't be everywhere.
Did you see how, this, that, and the other went on? You may not have seen those things. And there may have been an issue. There may have been, maybe we blew some breakers because the disco ball at the Daddy Daughter Date Night was just too powerful.
Well, I actually have an example. One year at Christmas service, I remember the service was amazing. Man, we had such great feedback of it when I was doing weekend planning, service planning, and we celebrated. But there was that one, it was an A-team lead that came into our meeting and said there was a mom who was not able, it was raining that night. She wasn't able to get from her car to the awning. And that was such a key thing. I remember saying, man, nobody saw that. And I'm glad someone spoke up, because we had umbrellas for the next event when it did. It's Louisiana, chance of rain, never. And so.
It's only in Tiger Stadium. In Louisiana, always.
Go Tigers. But all that to say, I'm so glad we can continue to grow and improve, because I don't want anybody's story, anybody's experience to be not able to be improved. Everyone, we should learn every single time.
So we've talked about planning, your events on the calendar. We've talked about planning. What are some things to consider I think we've kind of hit on a lot of it when planning an event? What are some things that we need to consider? Is information being communicated?
Yes.
We talk about when is it happening?
Yes.
Budget?
I would say,
Budget.
Is it clear? I know something we've learned when we do announcements from our stage or our platforms, social media, video announcements. Sometimes, let's be honest, if we don't understand what this event is, when it is, where it is, how long it's going to be, who it's targeting, is there childcare, is there food, is there a price? I think, is that information clear and available? One, not just to the person leading it. Two, is it available to your team? because I know we get into the lobbies and people start asking, and I'm not sure what the video said.
Or it changes.
Yes. Is it accurate?
Right. Or we've had meetings about it. We've been planning, and then we say, oh, well, no, maybe we do need to have childcare, or maybe we're not.
It changed locations.
Yeah, it changed location, and so we have to communicate the updates to everybody as they're happening, because, let's be real, there's a lot of updates.
Yes,
we need to be flexible.
Church moves fast.
Flexibility is key.
Flexibility
is key in ministry.
What we do at
events.
Bethany, we have, and I know however your church can probably utilize this tip, but we have a landing page on our website, or on social media. Sometimes we have graphics that have the clear date, time, location. We send it to our teams. They communicate it out. Like, we're just able, and then we have a staff document for those churches that have their staff or volunteers. We send that document out with every bit of info on there. That way, hey, you're not asking the one person leading it. You're not emailing them, calling them, texting them. You're not asking our pastor directly all of the questions, or our pastor's wife, but you're able to just have it available so that more people can know about it.
That's a huge thing, because I know, remember, in December we did the Christmas story, or a story of Christmas, massive production, and there was a document. We knew it was coming up, but there was a document that got sent out to the staff that said, here's what you need. There's everything, literally,
cute.
Everything
it was a fact
you need to know,
like question and answer kind of thing.
Like, you've maybe asked this question, you may be wondering this.
Do
question.
I have to RSVP? Is it free? Is there a child?
When do I have to be there?
How can I find out if my RSVP went in?
How can I get a refund? And
you don't need to bother IT or creative department about that. I was like, hey, I can find this out myself.
Well, it helps everybody to be empowered, which is what you want as a team, and it unifies you, and it not just, you're not trying to look good, but it helps.
It's efficient.
Empowering the team is so important, and there's nothing worse than going somewhere and you're asking one of the staff members. It could be at a store, a restaurant, whatever, and they have no idea.
Right. We want to arm.
Don't you work here?
Do you have this in stock? I don't know. What is that? And you're like,
I can find out for you.
I can find that out.
Yeah.
Or we've received the information and here it is. And obviously, like you said, flexibility. This is the most accurate information as of right now.
You know what? That's funny. That kind of reminds me. We have a project management meeting once a week, and so many of the project managers of our ministries, they join in, and so that might be something. That might be something important to have as you're
quick
planning,
touch point between team
event.
leads.
All these team leads. So if you have worship, if you have volunteers, someone over volunteers, people serving, if you have people over the meal planning, whatever it is, you can gather the lead for each of those areas and just kind of go over, okay, what do you know? We have a little funny hashtag for it. It's called SSSS. See something, say something. Did I say that right?
Yes.
4 S's. Okay.
SSSS.
If you see something, say something. So pretty much it's, oh, I heard we're doing X, Y, and Z. Well, no, just as of this morning, this is the new update. And it's great because we're flexible.
Such a team thing as well.
Is.
It includes everyone.
It is, but it's important to have the touch point meetings.
And I would say, like, event planning is so much more than the event. Like, there's so many layers of communication. There's so many layers of thinking through marketing. There's so many layers of purchasing, assembling, budget. I know that was something big we wanted to hit. So I know a lot of people are like, okay, what am I doing the night of? It's no, what is the 80% you're doing before? Have you had the right convos? Have you brought other people into it?
If your planning has been successful, execution is the easiest thing you can do.
That is great. Say it again.
If you have planned correctly, if you don't plan to fail, what's the saying?
I was just gonna say, if you
fail
to plan,
the old adage. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Right.
That's great. I think Benjamin Franklin said that.
Benjamin Franklin, he was
Dr.
a wise
Google.
guy,
So
wise dude.
I Googled it.
He has some important. You Googled it? Well, so we're having the event. We've planned the event. How do we get people to the event? Because that's the only reason that we're having it.
That's the money question.
It's going to be one of those things where, Christina, if you had one of those Easter events and you showed up to those parks and you were the only one at those parks, I'm sure there would have been a conversation.
I would probably cry.
Okay, where is everybody?
I'd pray and then cry. Cry and then pray.
Pray then cry to pray, yes.
But
Cry while
then
praying.
I would do my improvements list for the next year and strategize on how to get people there.
hits and
Tell
misses.
people.
And I think here at Bethany, we've had so many different events with COVID kind of shutting down everything and us kind of ramping back to having multiple events. Like, there is a strategy to getting people at your events. I know for a season when I was coming on, we relied a lot on if it announced at the platform, that mean it's heard. But honestly, I don't know if that was fully accurate. I think we've been able to think in layers over the past years, not just relying on the platform, not just relying on Pastor Jonathan announcing it, not
Well,
just
you
relying
can't.
on
There's
the
too
video.
Those
many.
are the days before
There's
social
so
media.
many.
Yeah.
Yes, there's so many avenues.
Right.
Like social media, that's great. Our lobbies are huge. There's so much more to say when you can have a personal connection in the lobby face to face with someone
great.
who's passionate about this event and getting people there. Word of mouth. We even did social media graphics to pass out to our team leads, to our volunteers. They were able to post about it, retag us. I think digital evangelism right now is so key, but we can also utilize it in campaigning our events.
And let me say, we have a creative team, of course, and graphic
Amazing
designer.
creative team.
They're awesome. Shout out to them. But
That's right.
not everyone has that, and that's okay. You use Canva a lot.
Yes, I am a proud
Canva
Canva
queen.
user. I am a
And,
creative Canva.
Yep.
I'm a beginner in Canva. Let's just
That's
say
great. But there's also a free version of Canva, and so
that. So many resources
yeah,
out there.
anybody can make
I
some
use
kind
Canva.
of graphic.
I will not be on anyone's church's graphic design team from the things that I've designed.
but
I've
your
used
event
it.
will be communicated.
But you can
people
get it out.
But people know about it and they can. You're right.
And I'll say I love plugging the next gen, but finding the people around you that have gifts in that, like I know when with our
Right.
youth, I was able to say, man, those 3 students really have a creative personality around them. And hey, can you create me a graphic? And they came out with something amazing. And that was able to take a resource that we didn't have, and I didn't want to fully be responsible for the graphic. But I think just allowing yourself to think in layers. What are the 8 to 9 touch points that I could get out the word for this event? Is it through email? Is it through texting? We've seen texting
Yes.
be very successful here. Is
Yep.
it through Facebook groups? Those are huge. We actually do that for all of our campuses. They have their own Facebooks. Our campus pastor gets on there, has a personal video. What's up, everybody? We have prayer tonight. Get there. We have a women's brunch this Saturday.
Well, something also you mentioned having the campus pastors get on there and you did this like they're doing a selfie. That's exactly what it is. Not, it doesn't always have to be so polished,
Yep.
your communication style.
Just genuine.
Yes. I think something COVID did well is it focused people's attention on, well, let's just be real. Let's just connect and that's something that anybody can do. You know, most people have a smartphone. Anybody can get on there and share something on a Facebook page, and that's a free ad basically, and it doesn't have to be this big fancy
Yes, it doesn't have to be the
production.
studio setup. It doesn't have to
Right.
get your whole creative team there to do it.
Right.
I think they should be able to speak into it, but you have just as much ability to dream and create as anyone else on your team. And with the Holy Spirit, who's a very much so creative and help you create. I know another thing for me is to get creative in the way we communicate. We've tried just, hey, come to this event. Why do you want to come to a conference? No, we tell people, we give them, we answer their questions. Hey, if you're needing a place to refresh, if you're needing a place to connect with other ministry leaders just like you, hey, if you're wanting to be equipped with ministry areas to grow your church, like getting creative and giving visuals, I think is huge. Imagine if we just talked all the time and try to convince people to come. That wouldn't work.
Right.
But I show a picture, I show a video, I show just the immense impact of someone's experience, a story, a testimony. I think that's key in not just convincing people to get there, but really believing in the vision of why it's important for them to be at this event.
Getting them on the same page.
Yeah,
They have the
and
same passion.
You'll have a successful event. You'll plan it. You'll execute it. You'll have people there. It'll be an excellent event. More people will come to your church.
You'll celebrate it. I think that's
Celebrate it,
huge.
Yes.
You don't just end an event and be done and take the improvements, but hey, we saw 10 people saved at this event. Like, that's amazing. Hey, this person stepped in and killed it in production for the very first time. Let's celebrate. Hey, this was this first person's first time to lead. Like, I think event planning is so much of a local church builder tool that I think we need to see it differently, because I think it really is the key for our churches to have more of a place together and like make impact.
Absolutely. Well, thank y'all so much. I know there's plenty of things that we could have covered when we talk about events. There are hundreds of events that you can have as a church, so we just wanted to cover the surface of how we plan, how we book, how we kind of execute events here at Bethany. And if you have any questions regarding that or how to get started, or we are more than welcome. We'll share a doc with you.
We'll set up a Zoom with you.
We may have to clean it up a little bit.
We will.
But we'd be glad to share a doc with you. But one of the major events that we are planning is Empower, June 12th through the 14th, coming up here in June. It's not only going to be a youth conference where students can come, but church leaders, youth leaders, associate pastors, senior pastors. It's going to be an amazing time. So come on down to Baton Rouge, June 12th through the 14th. And just come on down and have some fun with us. As Pastor Wayne says, come on, have some gumbo. I think that's crawfish season too. So we may have some crawfish available. So it's going to be great.
You never know.
We hope you had a great time listening to this. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll see you next time.